Hey guys, welcome to the Stitchy Jam Knits and Sews podcast. My name is Jay. I'm coming to you from Sydney, Australia, where I live at home with my mum and my two cats. And I love all things crafty. I like being frugal. I'm an eco warrior. I love gardening. I have my own veggie patch. I love reading. So if these things interest you, well, stick around. I have been busily sewing some project bags over the last few months, which I have a pile of here to show everyone, and which I will do. My shop is now live, but I'll just catch up on everything else first, and I will get to that in a moment. I hope that you're well. I'll pop those down there for a moment. I hope that everyone's well. Welcome back. A shout out to Sam. Hi Sam, I know that you watch every podcast and I'm really grateful. And I really love seeing all your crafts and creations on your Instagram page. And hi to Kaylee as well. I know that you're watching from the other side of the world. And I really love nothing more than when I'm feeling stressed out or having a moment to stick on your podcast, and it's just very calming and lovely. And yeah, I like you said, it's like sitting talking to a friend. Well, I feel exactly the same. To anyone new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy catching up with me, and yeah, so I think that it has been about a fortnight since I filmed, and I've been going to work. I work as a barista in a 5-star hotel. And what else have I been doing? I've been doing a lot of reading. Jenny Colgan, I've read non-stop for the last few months. The Little Beach Street Bakery series. I was going to talk about the first in the series and show you it, but I already smashed through it, and in a record time for me, who has dyslexia and who struggles to have, like, it has to be something that captures me in order for me to stay reading it. Yeah, I borrowed it from the library, and you have 2 weeks to read it before you need to renew it, and I finished it before it was due back. So high five to me. That's like a world record, I think. Maybe I've read one other book quicker than that, and that was when I was in the UK last year, and I was reading the book by Elliot Page, which the book's name is escaping me, but the book was very good. And so yeah, so I read that, and that was really good, and I'm now on to the second one, which is called Summer at the Little Beach Street Bakery. And I am already halfway through, and I am looking forward to reading the rest. And then I have the next one in this series. So there's 4 in the series, and I started reading the last one first, because I didn't really know that it was a series. And that's okay, because you can read them in any order you like, really. And I did a little review of that a few videos ago if you're interested. And I will give a little bit of a rundown on this one as well. I might do that now. So the first in the series is basically about a girl called Polly, and she has a business and a relationship breakdown, and then she moves to a little island in the southwest coast of England, and as time goes on, she heals herself by baking bread. And so this is the second one. And I won't give too much away, but there's some highs and some lows. And she has a little puffin friend, and he makes another appearance in this book. And it's just really heartwarming. When you read her writing style, you really feel like that you're there, and it's lovely. It's a lovely little, like, escapism kind of a situation, and I'm really enjoying it. And the next one in the series is Christmas at the little Beach Street bakery, and I feel like that's going to be perfect timing for December. But when they're all over, I'm going to be sad. And she does have a lot of other books, but there's only 4 in the Beach Street Bakery series, as far as I can see anyway. Yeah, so the weather's been really crazy. It's spring here, or it's supposed to be spring here in Sydney. And I live in one of the hottest parts in Sydney, in a place called Penrith. And we've already had, 34, 35 degree days. It's been humid, it's been hot, it's been muggy. And then the next day can be quite cool at 14, 15. So it's just all over the place. It hasn't really rained a lot, so we've been putting the hose on to water the garden quite a lot. I'm enjoying the cool, crisp mornings when I'm off. But as soon as sort of, a late morning comes, the humidity's starting to build, and it's quite hot by the time the afternoon comes. And thankfully, when I am at work, I am in air conditioning, so it doesn't really affect me. But of course, when I'm home, it's sort of getting that balance between not putting the aircon on too early, etc. But we'll get there. And, as you can see, I'm in a t-shirt today. And I do have my brace on, even though I don't have to wear it all the time now. For anyone new here, I've had tendonitis and tennis elbow, and which has affected like everything, work, knitting, etc. And I've just got it on because I was just sat knitting before I made this, podcast, hiccups. Okay, we're good, I think. I've just been sat knitting on my Sally vest, and I talked a bit more about that in the last couple of episodes, so I won't go into too much detail because I haven't done very much. I just did the little German short rows on the right hand collar, what do you call it, straps for the vest. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So there's not really much to show at the moment, but in a couple of weeks there will be. And yeah, so the first thing to say is that I'm really pleased I am able to knit properly again. I have had a few days this week where my arm's been really sore and I've just not knit. But for the most part, it's been good. And I have finished my second sock. When I say finished, I mean finished to the point of Kitchener stitch. I haven't done the finishing off yet. So they're my 2 socks, which are in this beautiful, it's called Rainbows and Sprinkles is the brand, and I'm not really sure, there we go. I can't remember the colorway, but it's so pretty. And I'll put it in the notes below anyway. And then I just did a little mauve contrasting heel and toe. And the reason I didn't do the contrasting cuff is because I had already started them before I decided to do that. And so I couldn't really do it on the second one because I'd already done the first one. I just put in this little detail at the top here. And I've been experimenting. I won't show you exactly what yet, but I've been experimenting because I'm trying to come up with a solution for a problem that I have and I know other people have, and so I won't divulge into that just now because it's still a work in progress. However, as you can see, I should have brought my sock blocker with me. They are pretty much good to go. I just need a Kitchener the toe and then weave in the ends and Bob's your uncle. And of course, when you finish one sock, what do? You cast on another one. So I've cast on the Gilbert socks by the Kitchen Sink shop, and that was part of a Anne of Green Gables package. Now, if you go back to my video in January, I had this grand plan of a year of socks. I wasn't going to knit anything but socks. It was going to be one pair of socks a month. I had all my yarn picked out, ready to go, and sorry, I just got a message from someone from Marketplace. Yeah, picked out, ready to go, and I had all these grand ideas. Have I knit anything from that list? Maybe 1 or 2 things, maybe 3 or 4 things. But generally speaking, no. So I decided I'm going to do the Gilbert socks, and I'm not going to use the yarn I picked in January because I want to do a pair of Christmas socks for myself. And I got the West Yorkshire Spinners Mulled Wine yarn, which is just lovely. And here we are. This is where we're at. So there we go, that's better. If you can see here and here, it's got this checkered design, and I've been arguing with myself the whole time. Is it worth it? Can you see it? Like, honestly, the whole time I've been knitting. This is the back, which is simply stockinette is ribbing, so 2x2 ribbing. And when you look at the front in this light, you can see the pattern. I think that it'll pop more when it blocks, but what I like about having used this pattern is that it's brought out a lot of the colors of the yarn to the front, and I just think it's lovely. I keep putting there you go, that's better. I keep putting it down the other end of the camera. The camera's up that end. I'm on my iPhone. So I'm up to the heel, flap and gusset, and that's just flying off the needle. But I am arguing with myself the whole time, whether it's a waste of time me doing the pattern. However, I've looked at other people's and they've used variegated as well. So I'm just going to stick to it and see how it looks. At the very least, it's given me practice in something different other than stockinette. And I think they're going to be lovely and squishy, and I would say cozy, but I live in Australia and it's summer for Christmas. So they will become more Christmas in July socks. But I will probably wear them over Christmas anyway, even if it's just for a few moments at a time, just so I can feel Christmassy with my socks on. Now, before I get into talking about my bags, which are finished, I want to have a quick catch up with, oh goodness, Tom Daly. What's the show called? Oh dear, there's a new knitting show on Channel 4 in the UK. I live in Australia. My friend has a VPN. I was lucky enough to be able to watch it with them. We had a little knit circle and a knit day. And the name is escaping me. And I'm going to have to put it here so that you know what I'm talking about. However, if you're in the knitting community, you're going to know what I'm talking about anyway. So my thoughts on episode 1 are, oh my God, what about all the controversy? So many comments of controversy from the knitting community surrounding this show. And while I do understand it, I really do understand it. I went in watching this show as a bit of light-hearted fun, a little bit like the Sewing Bee and Bake Off. It's a light-hearted fun competition, right? It was always going to be, well, how are they going to knit something in that amount of time? And, you know, knitting is a slow, relaxing, how are they going to make a competition out of it? I do understand all of that. However, I also think, great, knitting's mainstream. It's a bit of fun on the telly. So my positives are that I really enjoyed just chilling out with a group of friends, and although that was somewhat challenging because I was trying to knit, socialise and pay attention to what was happening on the TV at the same time, very challenging. I still enjoyed the concept. I enjoyed the concept of sitting around with a group of knitters, having tea, having some chats, and having the show in the background. Will I watch the episode again so I can hear what they said? Absolutely, I will. But I enjoyed it. It was nice. It was nice seeing my friends. It was nice catching up. It was really enjoyable to have something, you know, that relatable on mainstream television. Would I? Okay, first and foremost, while I do agree, very much so, that they should have definitely gone more into the history and tradition of Fair Isle knitting, and that they should have called it, you know, inspired by Fair Isle knitting rather than Fair Isle knitting. I definitely agree with that. I enjoyed watching the designers come up with, you know, some wonderful designs using a yarn that they weren't comfortable with, that the purpose of the yarn was so that it could be quick, so that they could be involved in the competition. Loved that concept. From the point of view is that we got to see the creative process, is where I'm going with that. Would I knit something chunky? Absolutely not. That's not me. Do I understand why they did it? Absolutely. And when you look on TikTok and you look on, you know, reels and shorts and of the younger knitting crowd, like I'm talking like, you know, teens, early 20s, they are doing chunky bright colors, you know, and it's good, I think, to have a bit of diversity and to cater for everyone. And over time, I think that this show will showcase bits and pieces, even if it's not in the first series. They've read enough of the comments, I'm sure, from the knitting community at the outrage that in the second season, which has been signed and is being filmed, by the way, so it will happen, is that I feel like they'll take a lot of that on board. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I enjoyed it for what it was, a light-hearted competition. I enjoyed watching the creative process of the designers. And although I really also agree with the fact that they should have showcased British wool more rather than just wool in general. They really should have honed into showcasing homegrown British wool, and again, maybe they will further down the line. Yeah, I feel like people need to take it as what it is, which was a light-hearted competition, and that it's not a knitting documentary. It's not, you know, there's pros and cons, right? I feel like on one hand, the show definitely should have gone into more detail about the tradition, 110%, and perhaps they will over time. And if they don't, well, just think of it as a light-hearted competition that is a bit of fun and something that you can sit around and chat about and knit with your friends with, and hopefully encourages some of the younger ones to knit. And for anyone that's like a traditionalist, well, maybe it's not the show for you. And that you can come and watch some lovely podcasts all about knitting on here on YouTube. Anyway, that's enough about that, because I'm sure I haven't watched the second episode yet, and I will, and I'll give you my feedback about that. But I'm sure everyone has heard, you know, different things throughout the community. And if you have seen it, even though I can't remember the name of the show, I don't know why, I'm having an absolute mental blank. Game of Yarn. Yes, there it is. Game of Yarn. If you haven't watched it, I recommend watching it, but go in with a light-hearted attitude. If you don't have the ability to watch it, I know that they're HD Clump and YouTube, you should be able to find it. Because I know obviously it was in the UK, and so a lot of people haven't been able to access it. And if you have watched it, I'd love to know in the comments what you think. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you feel very passionate about something that you think they should have done, could have done, or if you just really loved it. And yeah, mine's a little from column A and a little from column B. I will always be that way because that's the kind of person I am. And I wouldn't call it fence sitting, I would call it constructive feedback, because I can see both sides of it. I can see both sides of it, but I can also see what I enjoyed and what I think they could have done better. And that's all about that. So, knitting wise, I'm doing my Sally vest, I'm doing my Christmas socks. When these Christmas socks are finished, I'm going to cast on more Christmas socks. I don't know whether they'll be for me, or if, thank you Sam for that pattern recommendation, whether I'll do some kitty ones for some Christmas presents. I haven't decided yet. So I'm going to talk about my project bags now. I've been making them for the last 3 months. I have 4 large and 3 small. One of the large ones has sold. I listed these for sale on my Ko-fi shop, which the links are down here below. Last night, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, I'm really proud of them. I love them. They're each individual and unique. And so I'm just going to show you where we're at with those. So these are the small sock size bags. And each has the front and a plain back with Christmas trees and checks, and then a plain gingham type material. It's they're all cotton. This fabric here is blend, I think. The material sourced has come from a variety of sources, including my stash and like local material shops, Cancer Council, and there's a shop called the Sewing Basket, which supports people working with disabilities. So there's a variety of materials sourced, and a portion of the money for the materials where I've shopped at the Cancer Council and the Sewing Basket, that money will go to charity. So each one has a Christmas tree on it. Some of them have stumps and some of them don't, just because some of them I thought looked nicer without them. And everyone's different, so that gives people a choice. They all have a little Suffolk puff and a button. This one is Santa. And they all have a drawstring bag, so you can carry them around and put your knitting in. And the small ones, they'll fit probably, let's say 3 skeins of yarn. I call them sock size because they are smaller, but you could put a small project in, no problem. So there's that one with the little Santa on. And so we've got this one with a little stocking and candy cane. So these are all, sorry for showing you the top of my head. We've got a little elf right here. And a reindeer. And the snowman, look at him. So there are the small ones. I have a few small ones left from last year, which I have put up in my shop also, which you've seen before if you've been here. But if you're new, this is what they look like. They're a little bit smaller, but not by much. So this one has puddings and a yellow lining. And what I might do, if they don't sell, I think that I'll change this ribbon over. I might do that anyway. just on this one, it's a bit thin, like this thicker one, whoop, no problem. So this is, in fact, I might change that over. I think that's a good idea. So this one's a little pudding bag, and the lining is Christmas carols. And then I've got 2 holly as well, with a mint or a green ribbon. So those ones are left from last year. They're slightly smaller than this year's, but not by a lot. I do think the bigger, smaller, it's got a bigger box bottom, and I just felt like my design, see what I mean? This new design I think works very well. Even though I've had good feedback for these ones, I just thought having a bit more of a bottom on there would be nice. And then I've got the 3 larger ones as well with the vintage Santas. Now these would fit a jumper project easily. So they're a bit bigger. They've got the vintage Santa in cream. And then all of them are lined. They're all padded bags, by the way. And then, whoop, there we go. Nice long drawstring. So we can use them for knitting, sewing, if you wanted them for a gift to put, you know, kidlet Christmas presents in, whatever your little heart desires. Obviously I've designed them for knitters, but they can be used for anything. And they've got a nice big large bottom as well. And then I've got him in red. Isn't he just lovely? I just love him. And lined. Voila! I'm just in love with them, and even if none of them sell, well, you know, that's okay too. And then a blue one. Oh, if I wasn't trying to sell them, I'd probably just want to keep them all. Oh, what's in the bottom of there? That's just for display. There we go. Lovely. And they're all plain on the back. So they're in my shop now. The smaller ones are, like the really small ones are from last year. They're $55. The smaller this year ones are $65. If you're in the UK, that translates to about £32. I'm not sure about the USA. I can ship to the UK and the USA and anywhere else if you just let me know. But I've put in postage for Australia, UK and USA. And the big ones are $85. So when I say dollars, this is Australian dollars. So that is about £32 for the smaller ones and about 70, 80, and about what, 40 something pounds for the bigger ones. Don't quote me on that, but you can just stick it into Google and do the currency conversion. It's all paid through PayPal, which gives you and me security so that if you have any dramas, you know, my refund policy, I don't have one. But the only reason I would refund someone is if there was a problem in the construction of the bag, which there isn't, not just for change of mind, especially if I'm posting overseas. You know, if there was a real issue and a real problem with the construction, there was a hole in it, you know, there was some damage, I can't really think of anything. It's one of those things that, you know, I don't foresee there being a problem, but of course, happy to discuss it if there is. So I've been on here for about half an hour now, so I'll wrap things up. I'm going to stick with my sitting in this chair, having a chat with you format, I think. And it's interesting looking at the analytics for this account because the click rate, and this is all background, so it's probably boring for you, but the click rate, like click-through rate, which is when someone clicks on your video, has actually dropped significantly since I started putting cover photos on my videos. So if you have been here for a while, you'll have noticed that I've taken them all off now because I'm testing that out. Format wise, I'm going to sit and have a chat with you guys on my chair every fortnight and see what I have to catch up with. I love watching a vlog style in between myself, but not everyone does, and I'm going to keep putting clips in because if you're here and you enjoy what I create, well, then you enjoy what I create, and if you don't, you're not going to stick around, right? The ironing, I think, in the middle of trying to talk to you guys, although it was good opportunity for me to be in the moment and create while I was chatting to you guys, I think I wasn't able to pay enough attention to what I was talking about, and it might have been a bit all over the place. So anyway, my birthday is next Wednesday. I'm going away this weekend to a place called Canberra, which is the capital of New South Wales. In fact, it's the capital of Australia. What am I talking about? Everyone thinks I'm a weirdo for going to Canberra for my holidays, but I love going to the galleries. I love going to the art gallery and the National Museum, and there's always something good to do. There's lots of walking you can do, and I'm going out on Saturday night to my favourite Italian restaurant, which does the best tiramisu, and I can't wait. My dad and I are going. We're going to spend 3 nights together. I'm going to meet some family on the way down, just for a cuppa, and then head on our merry way. And then I'm hopefully going to pop into Collector on the way back for a coffee. There is a cafe there called Not Another Cafe, and they do a really nice coffee if you're ever down there. And I get back on Tuesday, I'm not sure what time yet, and then Wednesday's my birthday. Wednesday I'm going probably to go into the city for the day with my mum and go to a museum and go and see the Christmas tree, because I'm sure it'll be up by now, everywhere else is. And then after that, I will hopefully think about putting the Christmas tree up, because we don't do that in our house till after my birthday. And realistically, everyone wants me to do it on the 1st of December. Let's see what mood I'm in. Sometimes it comes early, sometimes it comes on time. But as everyone in the world in the shopping centres put it up right before Halloween, I'm really trying to push out till actual Christmas time this year. But it's hard because I love Christmas. It's my favourite. Hence, Christmas Santa vintage bags. I said I was going to wrap up 3 minutes ago, and I'm still waffling on. So you guys have a nice fortnight. Happy knitting, happy sewing, happy crafting. Big hugs for everyone. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. As per usual, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment. I love reading through your comments. It makes me feel like I am there with you and you're here with me in some way, shape or form, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So that's it. Over and out. Peace, love and zen, and I'll see you next fortnight. Peace out.